Hey everyone, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
And for anybody who saw the title card and just went, oh, it's the Avengers Endgame review, we already did the Avengers Endgame review. This is the spoiler talk. If you haven't seen the movie yet, there's a card popping up right now. I cannot stress this enough. Click on the card, go to the actual review. Do not stick around any longer because I can't contain all these spoilers for much longer. So go ahead, click on the card. Tune out now. That's it. That's your warning, everybody. Okay. 5 years. So, yeah, I knew some time was going to pass in this. Because in the trailers, you see like, oh, these empty streets. You see like, there's like a grief council meeting. Mm-hmm. So it's like, clearly enough time has gone by that people have gotten their stuff together enough that they're able to form grief council meetings about this. That they've come to kind of accept that a thing happened. But when it starts and they say 22 days have passed, I was like, yeah, that seems about enough time. Like, you know, things still have to operate, so people would still have to get to work. So after 22 days, things would, I'm not going to say would return to normal, but society would have to function after 22 days. But then they go in there and they just immediately go and fight. Like, this thing opens up with them saying, we know where Thanos is. Oh, let's go get him. And then they went and they got him. And they killed him. Right there. As soon as this begins. And I looked at that and went, and now a wave of red is going to wipe over the screen. And we're going to reveal that was a fake that Thanos set up with the reality gem.
Yeah.
And he's going to come in there and kick their ass. And no.
Nope.
And they see the glove, and the glove is gone, and Thanos, before they kill him.
The stones in the glove are gone.
Yeah, sorry, what did I say?
The glove is gone.
Yes, sorry. We see the glove, and the stones in the glove are gone, and Thanos just tells them, before he's killed, obviously, that I used the stones to destroy the stones because all I wanted was to wipe out half the universe. The temptation was too great to keep using it. So I used it, which... I rewatched Infinity War last night, and one of the things I think is so brilliant about that film is that Thanos is a murderous psychopath. Mm-hmm. But because he's the one that wins, they frame the movie like it was his movie. They frame the movie kind of telling it from his point of view. And in the beginning of this film, because, yeah, he thinks he's the hero, like many villains out there do. And when you hear him say, like, yeah, the temptation to keep using it was too good. That's the kind of thing that, like, a hero would do when they get, like, some gems like this. So you can see, like, their dedication to him just thinking that he's the good guy and all this. It was crazy seeing how much they carried that into this film, at least at the beginning of this. So when they kill him at the beginning of this, it was kind of like they were killing Infinity War Thanos. They were killing the Thanos who thought, yeah, I'm the good guy and all this. When you see Thanos again, he's just like, oh, well, I guess me being the hero sucked. So screw all you guys. If I gotta be the bad guy, I'm gonna be the bad guy on this one. So they kind of did, like, they killed two Thanoses in this one. They killed the Thanos who was a villain but thought he was a hero, and then they killed just flat out bastard Thanos. They killed the one who was like, just like, you know what, fuck everything. Fuck everything in this. And I really, again, from a storytelling point of view, I did kind of appreciate that because it does feel like there are two Thanoses. So they kind of killed them both. I kind of appreciate that. And by the way, before anybody comes in here and goes, you thought Thanos was the good guy? No. He was a straight up villain.
Yeah,
but
he's
most
a villain
villains think
who thought he was a good guy.
Yeah, most villains do think they're the good guy. And I kind of think that one of the boldest things about Infinity War is that they went, oh, Thanos thinks he's a good guy? Cool. The Marvel films tell stories about good guys. We will frame this movie like he's the good guy. Because I saw people at Infinity War who were mad because they thought that the movie was like, they want you to root him up. It's like, no, they trust you to have the common sense to realize how fucked up this is. They trust you to see when they're playing the sad music and focusing on Thanos crying as he kills Gamora. You're not supposed to look at it like, oh, poor Thanos, he has to do this thing. They're trusting you to go, what kind of a sociopath would think that we should feel bad for Thanos? Thanos thinks you should feel bad for Thanos. That's why he's a monster. And I think it's amazing that the film decided to shoot itself like that. That's incredible to me. But we're not talking about that one.
No.
We're talking about this one. But yeah, I do think that, just speaking in terms of storytelling, I think it is so wild that it is like, yeah, we kind of have two Thanoses. So we got to kill them twice, everybody. But then after that, it just cuts to black and it says 5. And I went, if you say years, I'm going to lose my shit. And then it says years later. And I went, okay. They're going to use time travel in here. They have to. They have to use time travel in some way. Because the stones don't exist. They have to go back to when the stones existed. And we know that Scott Lang exists in the quantum realm. And he's going to come out. And we know from the trailers that he's going to be the one who comes in here and helps them. But we also know from the Ant-Man films, time moves differently in the quantum realm. They have established that. Which, again, when you look at all these Marvel films and how much they establish, and I've got hair in my eye, and you look at how much they establish early on that will come back and fail, it's crazy to me how much that they establish in these films. It is insane to me how much they set stuff up. But we know that time moves differently. They're going to use the quantum realm, use time travel, go back then, and then they're just going to undo all this stuff. And then you see that Iron Man has a kid. Which I went back and I rewatched Infinity War. Literally, when Iron Man is introduced in Infinity War, he's jogging with Pepper Potts, and he's like, okay, you know when you have this dream, and you like, I gotta pee, but there's no place to pee. And then you wake up and you realize, oh, I just have to pee. And he's like, yeah, everybody has that feeling. I had a dream last night that we had a kid. And I woke up and it's like, I feel like we should, like, that's literally the first line that he has is, we should have a kid. And then when you see that, oh, the thing that they literally like set up is like, Tony is now thinking about this. He did it. He formed a family. And he's like, I don't want any part of this. We could screw this up even worse. I could lose everything that I have right now. I can't. I was like, oh my God. Well, they have to go back and undo this. And they have to not have the 5 years, because after 5 years of half the population being dead, things would just be too screwed up. Like, you think about like Spider-Man, he's got like Peter Parker, he's got Ned, he's got MJ, he's got Flash, he's got a couple of other characters in there who didn't really get names, but if you look at the credits, they are major Spider-Man characters. Like, they all exist in his class. No way are they going to, like, some of them would not have been snapped away, and they would just age out of the 5 years, and you would never see them again. It would just be too weird. Like, that'd be too bizarre for things like that to happen in there. So I was like, they're going to have to undo the 5 years, and Tony is just not going to have his daughter. And like, man, Tony's going to have to lose his daughter in this one. They don't undo the 5 years. I kept waiting for it. I kept waiting for them to undo the 5 years, and like, as soon as the snap happens, just bam, it's undone again. No. The 5 years, like, remains. And I think that really speaks to this film going, yeah, man, this is the end. And if you want to worry about like continuity, and you want to worry about things like how is Spider-Man Homecoming going to match up, and like what are the odds that every important character from Spider-Man Homecoming got snapped away, so now we don't have to worry about story and stuff like that or anything like that. What are the odds that if you have to worry about that, then yeah, as I said in our regular review, it does kind of bug me a little bit that I have to think about that going into Spider-Man Homecoming. But this film came in and said, we're no longer making movies where you have to worry about how they tie into each other. It's done. This is the end of that, and we're going out as epic as we possibly can. And yeah, having like the thing that Thanos did last for 5 years is a pretty goddamn epic thing to happen. I don't know, what was your feeling when you saw the 5 years thing?
I was like, oh dang, it's gonna take this long for them to like get shit together? Like
And then you find out that they had not been getting shit together. They accepted defeat. They were just like, it's done. Like, there's no way to get the Infinity Gems again. It's done. It's over with. We can't go back and redo this. So they're now just trying to operate the world as much as they can. And everybody even kind of has like their post-apocalyptic dark future look to them. Mm-hmm. Like Captain Marvel, after the time skip, you see that she's basically doing what she does in the comics now, where she's the boss of space. I have to worry about the stuff happening in space right now.
Yeah, she literally says, what's happening on Earth is literally happening to everywhere else. So yeah. I'm sorry if I can't be there with you all the time. I have like other planets to worry about.
Which I thought was great. Like that's
a very good excuse.
People ask, what do you like about Captain Marvel? That. Like I looked at that and went, that's the exact stuff that I like about Captain Marvel. I was like, yeah, you guys have stuff handled here on Earth. Do you know how much shit is going on in space? Yeah, that's one of the things I like about Captain Marvel, and I like the fact that she like Rocket gives her a little grief, and then she fires back. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the attitude that I like in Captain Marvel, that she just take no shit. but she's now got, like, she had the long flowing hair before. Now she has got the, like, short hair from the comics in there. And I was like, that is a very stereotypical, like, we're now in the dark future. The person with long hair now has short hair. So I kind of looked at that, and also the colors on her costume were reversed. And I was like, that's another thing. Give them a brand new costume that looks like the opposite version of what they had. And so you look at her in this, and you're like, this is kind of the dark future timeline here.
But then a hero shows up. A rat.
Yes. Okay, we were as vague about this as possible. We were as vague about this as we possibly could be. But there are going to be, of course, questions about... I know there's going to be people who's like, man, that's how Scott Lang got out of there. Just a rat walked across the board and flipped it on. His van's been in storage for 5 years, and the rat just walked along and flipped it on. I know there's going to be people who are mad about that. It was in there for 5 years. Like, if it happened instantly, yeah. Deus Ex Machina just came out of nowhere. It took 5 years. Like, statistically speaking, over the course of 5 years, yeah, that probably would happen at some point in time.
Just like a statue of the rat that brought him back and helped save the world.
Yes. So from there, you follow Scott Lang as he is now returned to this world. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned in the regular review that this movie, it started to get really light and charming when Paul Rudd was introduced, because Paul Rudd can't be in a dark film. It's like contractual obligation of his. But it wasn't at first. Mm-hmm. At first, you see Scott Lang running around like, what's happening? Where's everyone? What happened to everybody? And I mentioned that, after some time passes, it's not like we would ever get back to normal, but, like, people would have to function again. And it's been 5 years, and you still see, like, abandoned cars on the side of the mm-hmm. road. You still see piles of garbage, like, missing signs everywhere. And, again, it, like, really, like, hits you. God damn, it's been so long. And in San Francisco, there's just a massive, like, almost graveyard, basically, next to the Golden Gate Bridge, where it's just the names of everyone who went missing. Mm-hmm. And he has to then track down
like a memorial.
A memorial, yeah. And he has to then track down his daughter, and he finds his daughter, and she didn't get snapped away, but she has now existed in this world for 5 years without him. And when Kate Bishop was announced to be in the Hawkeye show for Disney Plus, mm-hmm. I had some people going, do you think they're trying to set up, like, Young Avengers? Because you got Kate Bishop in there now. I was like, well, you got Kate Bishop, but there's so many other characters in there. And when you stop and you think about Scott Lang, he's got a daughter, and in the comics, she becomes a member of the Young Avengers, but there's a big age difference between her in the movies and what she is in the comics. But that's kind of resolved now, because we just skipped ahead by 5 years. So I was like, maybe they are setting up the Young Avengers. So he goes to their compound, and he tells them about, like, the quantum realm and all that stuff and how time moves differently. And his idea is to use time travel. Basically what I said I thought that they were going to do in this. So they have to go to the biggest brain they can find, and they go to Tony Stark. And Tony Stark, he's got a kid now. Mm-hmm. Him and Pepper Potts are married. They're together. Everything is fine with them. And he's just like, I failed. We failed. Everybody failed. There was a moment at the beginning of this in which Tony Stark is, like, giving Cap the speech about, like, you weren't there. You weren't there when I tried to stop this. You weren't. You said that if we lost, we would lose together, which is a callback to, I think, Civil War, I think is when he said that. But yeah, it's like a callback to that. And also, this entire movie, with, like, the callbacks that it does to the previous films, it makes some of their worst films better. Mm-hmm. Because, like, Age of Ultron, I really like Age of Ultron when I saw it, but as time went along and I went back and rewatched, I was like, oh no, this thing has massive problems. This movie is not that good. I don't think it's bad, but it's got big problems in it. And there's a moment in here where he's like, I want to protect the Earth. I said I wanted to encase the Earth in its own suit of armor, which is what he said in Age of Ultron. I was like, God damn, you took Age of Ultron, like a thing where he's now got all these weird ideas out of nowhere, and you made it like a defining trait that's been carried on in his stories. And, like, the Rousseau brothers have been trying to redeem Age of Ultron, because, mm-hmm. like, in Civil War, like, he was bringing up Ultron in there, and then it comes up in here again. It's like, God damn, that is really impressive. How you have, like, taken, like, yeah, people have problems with that movie. Let's try and fix those problems in our movie. Sorry, I am super dry mouth right now, so I have to keep stopping every now and again to go, Okay. So he doesn't want to do it, and as I mentioned, you can't blame him because he's like, we could screw this up even more and I could lose the stuff I already have. And also, yeah, he's scared out of his mind about this. So they go to the next biggest brain they can find, and it's Bruce Banner. And I mentioned in our review, it was kind of weird that they resolved the Hulk being scared of Thanos and Hulk not wanting to come out and fight Thanos thing. Like, it's resolved, but it's resolved off camera. And it's also not resolved in the way I was expecting. Like, you want to talk about the things that go, yeah, this is an alternate future. This is not the main universe that you're going to be in from now. This is an alternate future. We're going to wipe all this out. It's the fact that we now have a Hulk who isn't really the Hulk that you know. He's the Hulk with Bruce Banner now in control. He's the Hulk with Bruce in the driver's seat. And this is the most charming Mark Ruffalo has ever been. Mark Ruffalo is the most fun guy in, like, he overpassed Paul Rudd in this movie. Paul Rudd has to be the dark, depressing guy in here. There is the moment, like, right after this, where kids come up wanting to get an autograph and, like, get a photo with the Hulk. And he's just, like, the goofy, like, he's, like, the goofy dad on the team now. Just like, hey, kids, yeah, okay, make sure you eat your vegetables, kids. Dab. He literally dabs. The Hulk dabs in here. And it has that perfect tone of, I'm an old, out-of-touch guy, but kids look up to me, so I'm trying to do the thing that kids like. It fits so well. I loved it. And Mark Ruffalo is just so charismatic as the Hulk. And it feels appropriate that he be as most charismatic now. Because, you know, him as Bruce Banner, he's very kind of like shy and he's got so many things to deal with and he's such an emotional mess. And then the Hulk is pure, like, anger and all the stuff he's been keeping inside him. If he's able to deal with all the stuff he's been keeping inside him, he would kind of now, like, be able to get over his nervousness and his shyness. Yeah, I mean,
it's been, like, 5 years, so it's, like, I'm glad that he finally, like, learned to accept the Hulk, because he's like, oh, this is a monster, I need to restrain him. It's like, no, I don't need to restrain him, I just need to, like, accept him, and then that's how he becomes, like, smart Hulk.
Yeah. Which is the thing that we've had in the comics, so it's kind of cool that we got that in this. But also, that means that you've got the Hulk in here for every scene. For every scene involving Mark Ruffalo, he's not just there to come in and punch things. He's there, like, in the scenes. And god damn, the CGI is good in here. I mean, we're going to get to it in just a second, but I've said this before, and I'll say this until the end of the time. Somehow, the Marvel films have got the perfect de-aging technology. Like, you will never see better de-aging technology than what you get in this film. And yeah, you see it again in here, and it's just, oh god, I still cannot believe it. So they go, they talk to, I almost said Mark Ruffalo, because it's just Mark Ruffalo in here. They go and talk to the Hulk. Hulk is trying to help him, but he's like, this isn't my area of expertise. Then you come back to Tony, and goddamn, Tony Stark, I gotta come back in here and say it again. His interactions with that kid are so good. Just play dads from now on. Like, just, you won't be the star of the film, but...
Dad-vengers.
Yeah, exactly. Just, because Mark Ruffalo would also be a good dad, like the goofy dad.
And Clint's a dad, too, so...
Yeah, he's actually... The 5 seconds we see of him interacting with his kids in here are really good. Everybody in here should
he's also like a father figure to, like, Scarlet Witch, too, so...
Yeah, he was in Age of Ultron. He absolutely was. And in Civil War. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember watching that. I was like, you need to find, like, you know, those movies where your role is to be, like, the fun dad, and then you have, like, the heart-to-heart moment where you sit down and you, like, slap your girl on the knee, and it's like, it's gonna be okay. And then you, like, give her, like, the speech about, like, growing up and dealing with your problems. Like, that's what you need to do from now on, man. Like, that's just what you're good at. Tony is Tony, and Tony can't stop thinking. He gets an idea in his head, even though he's like, no, we can't. He can't stop thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And he works on it, and he figures out how to navigate the quantum realm. So they all go, and they do it, and they have to go, okay, what we have to do, we have to go back. We have to get these stones, and then use them here in the present. We can't go and erase the last 5 years, because then we erase my daughter. So we have to bring them all back right now, and that was the part in which I was like, they can't do that, man, because, again, like, you think about Spider-Man, like, he's going to now be in school, and, like, some of his friends are going to be aged out, and, like, was Aunt May here the entire time? Did Aunt May have 5 years without him? Like, that'd be kind of a tragic thing. Like, Aunt May definitely would not let him be Spider-Man after this if it turns out, like, who knows what's going on? No, they did it. Again, I'm just going to cut ahead of that and just say, yeah, they freaking did it, and I can't believe that they did that. But yeah, so they have to go get the stones, bring them back, and I love that they bring up the argument that literally everyone had as soon as they figured out they were doing time travel. I was like, why not just find Thanos as a baby and just kill him? Why not find this fight Thanos before he gets his hands on the stones? And I really enjoyed the explanation that they give. But again, that explanation, as I mentioned in our regular review, I have some problems with all the massive plot holes that it now creates. But they give you an explanation, but that explanation for why they can't do that, but then that explanation kind of comes back around at the end and be like, but then doesn't that kind of create a problem? But basically the explanation is, yeah, if you go back and you prevent the snap from happening, then we would have no reason to go back in time, meaning that you now wouldn't go back in time, so the snap would happen. They don't explain it like this. They actually explain it way more convoluted. Basically what he says is that if you go to the past, then that past becomes your future, and the future you that went back is your past, and you can't change your past, otherwise you'll be changing your future. And it's like, I get what you're saying, but that was the most complicated way you possibly could have said that.
Why don't you just say it was messed up to kill a baby? I mean, just...
He does say that still. He does say that still, and Don Cheadle's excuse is, it's Thanos. And I was like, yeah, it's Thanos. But yeah, basically what he's saying is that it's like, if you change the reason you had for going back in time, you won't have gone back in time, and that creates problems. Although at the end of this movie, I'll just go ahead and cut ahead to this. At the end of this movie, when they're sending Cap back to return the stones, he goes, you have to return them to the exact moment that they were gone. Otherwise, you'll create a whole bunch of dark parallel universes. One of the shows coming to Disney Plus is they're taking the old Marvel comic What If comics, where they were single standalone stories in each issue of What If comics, where it was, what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? What if Captain America did not get frozen in World War II? What if this thing? What if that thing? They have announced they're making an animated What If series.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they're actually going to get some of the actors from the movies to come in and do the voices of their characters. Yeah, that's a really cool idea. And at the end of this, they literally go, okay, make sure that you do this exactly, or you're going to create a bunch of dark parallel realities. They literally set up the What If animated shows with this last moment there. And that's the one thing that makes me go, okay, so I can kind of overlook the plot holes that are created by the end of this. Because basically what they're saying is, you don't fully create a new reality. You don't fully change our timeline. You just create a split-off reality. And they even have Tilda Swinton in here kind of making that explanation as well. But I still, no, there's certain things about our reality that has definitely now changed. We know that for a fact now. Also, as I said, the fact that Spider-Man is going to be, existing 5 years after when he left is a very weird thing. So I do, again, there are, the little tiny things that just make me go, but wait, so that's why I couldn't, if you saw our review, I could not give this a perfect 10 out of 10. I still give it a 9 out of 10. I really wanted to bump that up higher. But, yeah, they now have to go back to 3 exact times to get their hands on this stuff. And they're they said, if you time this right, then there's 3 stones in New York at one point. So they have to send a team back to the battle for New York at the end of the Avengers. And yeah, you see them walking around the background, trying to avoid their past selves as they're doing scenes from the movie. But then you see moments right outside, the second, after Loki said, on second thought, I will have that drink now. What happened the seconds right after that? What did they say back to him? You see Iron Man invading his home to try and sneak in there at that moment. It's okay, that's kind of cool that you're showing that stuff. But I did have that thought, isn't this kind of just going to be a clip show almost? And then they stop and they turn back around and no, this ain't just a clip show. We're going to take your knowledge of the stuff that existed in the previous films and use that to create a whole new depth and different layers to all this stuff. That's one of the reasons that I really like Captain Marvel as much as I did. I know some people had problems with yeah, it's just basically hey, remember this thing? And I was it's not really that. It's more, hey, this is how that thing got to this thing, and we're now giving a new layer to the stuff that you had seen, which gives you more depth going into Endgame. So I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
I feel like they did that in this.
Yeah, it's you see things from a different perspective, both literally and figuratively.
And you also have knowledge of films that came after certain moments.
So it's you know now what you should have known then.
We'll just go ahead and say it. Yeah, there's the moment in which, okay, well, what did they do with the Tesseract and with Loki's scepter after this? And then you see Rumlow come in there. You see not just you don't just see Crossbones. You see like several guys from Winter Soldier who were revealed to be Hydra agents. They come walking in, and as soon as they did, I went, oh, right.
Yeah, that.
And they go in there and they use their knowledge of that to basically, like, sneak around them.
No,
to basically trick them.
Yes, basically, like, I love this. Captain America says, "Hail Hydra," in order to, like, get the
Hydra agents to go, oh, okay.
So he's one of us. Here, you take the cube. You take it. You're good with us. And like, that is the only time I will accept Captain America saying "Hail Hydra." The comics can screw themselves.
I'm not gonna get into that. There's a whole like thing. It was actually an evil alternate reality. Captain America's going to be a metaphor for that, but whatever. I'm not having that argument anymore. It's done. But I was like, that's actually kind of awesome that he used his knowledge of that to trick them into that. And he even has like this smirk on his face, which, okay, I did have that moment in which I was like, you're not just going to do the thing from Winter Soldier again, because he goes into the elevator with all them. It's like, the elevator scene in Winter Soldier is badass. You're not just going to do the elevator scene from Winter Soldier all over again, are you? No, he realized he can't mess with the past like that, so he basically just, he tricked them, and it was brilliant. But then, like, Loki escapes with the Tesseract because Tony Stark screwed up. For once, Ant-Man didn't screw something up. It was Tony Stark who did. And Loki escapes with that, which makes me wonder if that's going to be
like one of the dark parallel universes, or?
No, well, Loki's also getting a show on Disney+.
Oh.
And I'm like, how? He's dead. I mean, granted, it's Loki, so he can trick us all and be like, no, I wasn't actually dead the whole time. I wasn't, shh, everybody, I'm still here. So is it going to be like that? Is it going to be like an Loki origin story, and you're going to be like a story in the past? And I saw that and like, Loki just disappeared with the Tesseract. And we don't know what happened to that. That's probably what the Disney Plus show is going to be. It has me also really wondering, what the hell is the WandaVision show going to be? It's weird that it's not called Scarlet Witch and Vision, it's called WandaVision. Why? I don't, maybe it's because I was like, well, Vision remains dead at the end of this. How are you going to give them a show? Maybe it's going to be the story of like what they did in that like week that Vision went offline because he escaped with Scarlet Witch, like just about them like and their relationship there. Or Vision could be like a reference to like, maybe not the Vision, but it could be like a play on words, like it's Wanda's 'S vision, like her vision quest, something like that. Like she goes on like a journey to discover something to find her own vision. Who knows? I'm theorizing here. I am like running out of my voice on this, so let's hurry this along. So after Loki escapes, Captain America then meets his other self, and I was like, oh man, they're gonna have so much to explain. And he goes, I have eyes on Loki. It's like, Loki the shapeshifter! You came up with the perfect excuse to have the two of them face off against each other, to have like younger him face current him, and he's even holding the scepter there the whole time, and like, this is like the perfect way to come up with a reason for him to fight his past self. And again, using the knowledge of the later films, like, Bucky is alive. Like, he just says that to get him to go, wait, what? And then he uses the scepter to erase his memory of that encounter so it doesn't cause any parallel, like, timelines or something. Like, perfect. You guys freaking nailed this. Way to go. This was before I had questions about, like, plot holes and stuff that come up at the end. But I was really impressed with him at this point. But I love that they also went to, this was the first of my, like, oh, shoot moments. When Hulk went to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and it's Tilda Swinton there. I'm like, you got her back in for this. Oh my goodness, that's really impressive. Little did I know how far they were going to go with that, because that was before Crossbones popped up in here. That was before Robert Redford popped back up in here. Robert Redford retired. Robert Redford, literally last year, he had a movie come out and he said, this is the last film I'm ever doing. This is my send-off. And Marvel was like, no, it ain't. You got one more in the tank, baby. Check that contract you signed. We're Disney. We know how to screw people over in a contract. I'm sure they did not screw him over in the contract. Robert Redford actually did Winter Soldier because he was like, yeah, my grandkids really like these Marvel films. I'm going to do that. I'm sure that when they came to him and was like, hey, you want to do this again? I was like, yeah, I'll do it for my grandkids. There have been so many big A-class actors who have done superhero films because their kids or grandkids liked it. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. But yeah, I'm so glad they got him back in here for this. It's so crazy to me just to think about the fact that I was like, this is his last movie. That's wild. But yeah, when Tilda Swinton was in there, and I love that. Again, you want to talk about stuff that they bring back from the previous films, not so much to be like remember this thing, but to be like yeah, you know these characters do this. Why would they not do this? She punches Bruce Banner's spirit out of the Hulk, and I was honestly expecting there to be a scene like after she did that, Hulk just would go ape shit. Like, Bruce Banner's not there anymore. It's like, yeah, there's another guy in there, and then like Hulk just gets up, like, I thought that was gonna happen. It didn't happen. It would have been cool, but I don't have a problem with them not doing it. But yeah, I love that, again, they're setting up the what if show without having to stop and go, here's the what if show. They come up with a reason for why she can't give him the time stone, even though she's like, yeah, you're clearly from the future. You know about Doctor Strange. And I am the Ancient One. I also know about Doctor Strange. I know that he is like foretold to be the greatest among us. And, which again, she has the time stone. It would make sense that she would know about the future. And he's telling her about how, like, well, then if you can't let the time stone go, why did Doctor Strange give it to Thanos? Wait, what? I loved seeing her just be like, just go from, oh, yes, well, I know all this what? That was good. So it was great seeing her basically come to terms with, oh my goodness, I guess he did it for a reason. Which to me was them turning to the audience and going, remember when he said there was 1 out of 14 million futures where they won? And then you're wondering why he gave the time stone over to him? It's because that's what he had to do to make this the 1 in the 14 million timelines. So yeah, I thought that was a great moment. I'm just going to keep saying over and over again, I thought that was a great moment. So they get the time stone, they get the mind stone, but they miss the Tesseract. Loki just escapes with it. And again, I love that. It's just like, Loki's just in the wind now. Who knows what's going to happen with that guy? And that's never really fully explained, but it is one of those things that makes you go, oh shit, they're going to mess up time so bad on this. But I was still willing to let it slide at that point. But then Iron Man has the idea of, okay, I know of where we can go to get the Tesseract. I know of a specific place in time where it was, and we only have one ride left on the Pym particles, but I also know where we can get more Pym particles. And it's a brilliant idea. He goes to the 1970s when he knows his dad was working at Shield Compound, and he goes there, and he also knows, yeah, Hank Pym was also there working on his Ant-Man stuff, which they showed the original Ant-Man helmet in there, which I thought was a great Easter egg. They go back there, and Tony, this guy with more daddy issues than anybody else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's saying a lot when you consider that Thor and Loki are here. He meets his younger self, his younger dad.
Yes, younger dad, not his younger self. That'd been weird.
Yeah. And there is a moment there in which the dad says, yeah, my wife is expecting. And he's like, oh, dude, no, how far along is? And he gets this look like, wait, what? And in the comics, it was revealed that Tony actually had an older brother who came before him, and he was kind of gone the entire time. I was expecting maybe they're setting that up because Tony's reaction was so like, wait, what? That doesn't add up with this. He had that look of, no, she can't be expecting because my birthday is But no, that wasn't it. He was literally just like, he was just surprised to meet his dad. And they share like a nice moment in there.
Yeah.
And again, you want to talk about how I don't have a problem with the fact that them going back in time was like a clip show. The reason why I don't have a problem with that is because, no, they use it to just create more depth. And also to, like, resolve some stuff.
Yes, there were, like, a lot of burnt bridges that got rebuilt again, I guess you could
That's
say.
a good way of saying it, yes. So that was a wonderful moment. And then you get Steve seeing Peggy, and I thought that they were going to interact, but they didn't because Steve was like, I can't mess with the past. And Tony's dad isn't going to recognize 50-year-old his son. But Peggy Carter will know Kevin? I keep calling him Kevin. Will know Chris Evans. She will know Captain America when she sees him. So, yeah, you can't really do that. They get those stones. What were the other ones? Oh, yeah, Asgard. When you see Natalie Portman for 5 seconds. Not even that. I don't even think she got 5 seconds in here. And we haven't even talked about this.
We haven't even talked about Thor.
We should talk about Thor. I mentioned in our review, I did not have a problem with this, but I can see people out there going, this is Thor's last real appearance. This is kind of Thor's big send-off. And you kind of, like, literally, there's a moment where Tony Stark calls him Lebowski. Yeah, he's the big Lebowski in here. He's constantly drunk. He's overweight. He's unshaven. Just got, like, this nasty, ratty hair. Yeah, he's a mess. He's walking around in a bathrobe throughout the entire movie. Even when they go back to Asgard and they have to sneak into Asgard, he's still just in the bathrobe. Like, he can't even be bothered to put on clothes for that. Yeah, I can understand people's like, I wanted to see Thor, like, at his peak in here, and we have him at his rock bottom. But as we mentioned, speaking in terms of story, yeah, man, people suffer grief in different ways, and this movie shows many different characters suffering grief in many different ways. Hawkeye goes fucking apeshit. Mm-hmm. Hawkeye goes totally dark. You've got Iron Man just trying to ignore it all and build what he has now. Mm-hmm. You've got Captain America trying to help other people. Like, I love that he's the guy leading the grief groups. Mm-hmm. You have him trying to lead these grief council meetings, but you can tell that he's like, he doesn't even fully buy what he's saying. But he's still just trying to help others. Natasha has thrown herself entirely into her work. Yeah, I love that you showed so many different ways that people deal with grief. I thought that was done incredibly well, and that does mean you're gonna have that one guy hit rock bottom. Yeah, and Thor's the one who hit rock bottom. Although it gave a great excuse to have Korg and Meek come back. And then Valkyrie pops up too. I love that, like, there are some remaining Asgardians, which I did have to stop and question, like, didn't Thanos blow up the ship? How did they all survive it? And then I was like, well, Thor survived in outer space because I guess Asgardians just can survive in outer space. Okay, so that's fine. Asgardians can survive a blowing up ship. And it would also make sense that Thanos would not have killed all of them, just half of them. So they needed a place to stay, so they just found, like, this Norwegian village, and they made it New Asgard. Mm-hmm. And it's just a fishing village. And you've got, like, a troll, like a big, like, hulking troll walking around in the background. You've got other Asgardians there. I have no idea what happened to Lady Sif. Like, she was not in Ragnarok. She was not in Infinity War. She was not in Endgame. They brought, like, as many Asgardians back as they could between these three films. She just is nowhere to be found. And it is just kind of weird that, like, she's like the one of the other Asgardians that people kind of liked in the first two films. And, yeah, she's not really in this one. She's not in any of them.
Kind of feel like Valkyrie overshadowed her.
Valkyrie totally overshadowed her. Don't get me wrong. If I have to pick between the two, I'm picking Valkyrie. Mm-hmm. But it is considering that they got everybody, and they got Natalie Portman to come back for 5 seconds in here, despite the fact that Natalie Portman, it was always kind of clear, you don't want to do these. She was willing to come back for like 5 seconds in here. Yeah, you couldn't even get her. It must be a contract thing. There must be some kind of a contract thing that's like, yeah, I'm working with these people now, and they won't let me come over here and play. So,
say no dessert until you finish your vegetables.
Yeah. I've been eating these vegetables. They've been filming Endgame this whole time. Like, she's just looking out the window and all the other people. Yeah. There's a line at the end of this that I kind of won't talk about now, but we'll get to it later. But yeah, so Valkyrie is working on this fishing village, and she's like, all right, but you don't want to see him. And you get there, and like Korg and Meek are just playing Fortnite.
Right. And eating pizza.
Like the epitome, like the perfect like encapsulation of, yeah, we used to be badasses and now we're just not. And Thor is like yelling at people like, ah, yes, Noob Slayer 69, I will come there and I will find you because I am Thor. Yeah, that's what he does now. It's really rough kind of seeing him like this. But again, this film is about showing people dealing with grief in different ways, and there are many different ways that people deal with grief, including being at rock bottom for 5 years. Mm-hmm. But he goes back and he sees his mom, and you want to talk about how this movie made some of the bad Marvel movies, and again, I say bad by Marvel comparisons, I still think their worst film is a passable movie. You can watch it. And to me, their worst movie is Thor Ragnarok, which is just watchable. That's all that there really is to that film. Yeah, he goes and he finds his mom. And I love that.
Wait, Thor Ragnarok? Or
no, did I say Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Dark World.
Yes,
Ragnarok's fucking amazing.
Yes, I was going to say, wait a minute, isn't the Ragnarok the Thor movie actually like really love? Yeah. Like what?
Ragnarok is like one of their top 5 films. It's amazing. Dark World is the one that I'm like, it's not. Yeah, it's certainly not good. I still don't think it's bad, but it is definitely their most whatever movie. This makes that one better. It does make it better. Or at least it takes our memory of that movie and make it better. I've already seen people on Twitter saying, I kind of want to go back and watch Thor Dark World now. It makes our memories of that film better, and it's just amazing to me that they did that.
I feel like it improved it simply because you got to spend more time with Thor's mom.
Which was a problem that I had with that film. Mm-hmm. Is that they did basically like fridge the mom in that one. Mm-hmm. He comes in there, and she just instantly like identifies, yeah, you're from the future. It's like, future? No, I'm not. I'm not from the future.
How can you say I'm from the future? I'm your son from the present. I've always had long, scraggly hair and a hoodie and sunglasses.
And had two different colored eyes. It took me forever to figure out why I had two different colored eyes. It's like, oh, because one of them's robotic and Rocket gave it to him. Mm-hmm. Got it. And she goes, I was raised by witches, boy. I see them with more than just eyes. That is an amazing line. That is an amazing, perfect line for Freya to deliver. I love that line.
When he went back and he realized, oh, this is the day my mother dies, I was worried he was gonna, like, screw over the mission, try and save her. But then she was like, this is your past that you need to fix. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
It's like, she understands.
And she gives him the perfect mom speech.
Yes.
Like the perfect, like, basically get your shit together speech.
Yes.
But in the way that, like, motherly love would deliver it. And I love that he, like, this is back when Mjolnir still exists. He pulls out Mjolnir. Like, he goes and he summons and goes, I'm still worthy. And that's the moment in which he's like, there's still hope in me.
Yeah.
I can still be good. And that was great. Because you can tell, like, yeah, Stormbreaker, anybody can wield Stormbreaker. Like, anybody can pick that one up. It doesn't have the little thing on it. But he brings back Mjolnir. And that's the moment where he's like, there's still, like, I'm still Thor, damn it. So he got what he needed. Also, Rocket extracted the Aether from within Natalie Portman. And it's so funny to think of the fact that, oh my God, he had to do that. Like, Natalie Portman, Jane Foster, I should say. Jane Foster just had a crazy talking raccoon jump on her, jab her with the thing, and suck the evil energy out of her. And what's weird is that at the end of this, Steve Rogers has to go back and re-inject it into her. It's a weird thing about that. So, I'm sorry, I'm getting overwhelmed. And the other two that they have to find is the Soul Stone and the, what was I going to say? And the Power Stone. They have to, and again, you want to talk about how this movie takes things from the past, but then makes them not like a clip show because they show them to you from a different angle. The amazing opening credit scene.
Oh, yes.
From Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the best opening title and credit scenes of any of these Marvel films. And which is just the hey, like just Star-Lord dancing around out there. It then shows you what someone who isn't hearing that music sees, and it's just a jackass going, yeah.
Like, I was just waiting for that moment because I knew that was going to happen. It's like,
I didn't see that coming. You were ahead of me on this one.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, man, I did not see that
because they're like
coming.
spying on him, so I was like, yeah, of course they're going to see it from that perspective.
It was so good. And man, okay, so they knock him out, they go there, they get the Power Stone instead of him. And Gamora basically reaches her hand into the thing and melts her skin off Terminator style until it's just a...
Nebula.
Nebula, sorry. Who did I say? Gamora?
Gamora.
All right, so Nebula reaches in, grabs the Power Stone out of the little trap it was in, but she doesn't use the device that Quill had, so she basically burns all the fake skin off of her arm to reveal just the Terminator arm underneath. And War Machine, he looks at her and goes... And she says, I wasn't always this way. And he's like, neither was I, but we have to do with what we have. And it's like... That is such... I would not have, like, seen Nebula and Rhodey as being, like, a good, like, team to go together. I would not have seen them as being, like, the, like, team that would make sense to put on the same mission. But, man, like, yeah, Rhodey got paralyzed from the waist down, and now he's basically got robotic legs. Mm-hmm. And she's been, like, chopped up and turned into a cyborg. And it was just that... It was a great moment in there. I really enjoyed that moment that they had. Yeah, I thought that was fantastic, that scene.
And then somehow, like, her circuits get
what it is that the Nebula in the present, who is still like, no, Thanos, please like me, Thanos, please, Thanos, Thanos, like me, please. She, that Nebula, who is still desperately just trying to get her dad's attention and love, they're on the same basic Wi-Fi network, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, they're basically linked up.
Yeah.
They're circuitry.
They're on the same wavelength.
Same wavelength, basically. So she starts projecting the images of what the other Nebula is seeing. So they're able to figure... So then Thanos is able to understand, oh, I know what's happening. And then that means that Gamora, which, man, I have so many questions about what happens to Gamora at the end of this. But then Gamora, who still at that time is kind of still loyal to Thanos, still just basically like faking being loyal to him the whole time, because, yeah, it's Thanos. You don't want to like betray that guy. He will destroy you. They basically then decide they're going to go. After Rhodey ports out, they hack into other Nebula and prevent her from going back to the present. And then they get her memories. And they don't get her memories, but they see everything that's happening. And so then past evil Nebula disguises herself to be present day Nebula, goes into the future, and is able to basically just screw all of them over. And she summons out Thanos' fleet. Mm-hmm. But we'll get to that in a second, because we still don't have the Soul Stone yet. There's so much in here that I just want to start talking about. But you get to the Soul Stone, and I was like, how are they going to resolve that? Because we know how you get the Soul Stone.
Yeah, I kind of figured... I knew what was going to happen simply because, like, basically, like, Natalie and Clint are fighting over who's sacrificed. Like, they basically want to sacrifice themselves. They're obviously not going to throw each other in because that would be a dick move.
Yeah, and, man, you talk about who to send on these. You send the two members who have the most history with each other. Mm-hmm. The two members who are there for each other at all times. Yeah, when you think about who on here would have to sacrifice the thing that they care about the most that's still left in this world, it's Natalie and Clint. Like, that's it. That's the team. That's the two who would have to go there to have this kind of confrontation. And both of them are trying to struggle to sacrifice themselves. And I thought there was going to be a thing where, like, both of them end up jumping off at the same time. And that creates some kind of, like, a break in the contract, like some kind of a loophole in it. Like, you both did it. And we have to give the stone to someone, so both of you sacrificed half your soul. Both of you still have, like, enough there that you can live and survive and still be humans. But we took a little chunk out of both of you to create one soul. So, like, I thought that was going to happen. But no, Scarlet Witch. Black Widow falls to her death. And Clint ends up getting the stone, and man, it is just such a traumatic moment.
I had a feeling it was going to be Natalie because she doesn't have a family, and like the whole reason why Clint agreed to go on this quest is to bring back his family.
Also, as I said, he's going to be in the Disney Plus show that's coming out. But we know that there's a Black Widow movie coming out. And, like, they finally, after all this time, have confirmed there is a Black Widow movie.
Well, maybe it'd be like
after she dies, but yeah, I think it's going to be a prequel. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be her origin story. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. Or there have been other Black Widows in the Marvel Comics. Mm-hmm. So it could be, you know, someone else who was a member of the Red Room, someone else who was part of that assassination organization. She now has to break her programming the way that Natasha did. So, yeah, man, that one... I kept looking at it like, it's got to get undone. And then they go, no, they say that the snap can, like, the big red-faced guy who was there, he said, which I kind of wish that he said the big red guy. I kind of wish that he had said the big red-faced guy. And I wish that Captain America had like, a shot just like, like, wait, what? Red-faced guy? The big red skull-faced guy, like, say something like that, just to make Cap go, red, what? But it was at a dramatic moment that would have cut the tension in that moment, so I understand. They says, yeah, they say that you can't undo that. The stones can't bring back someone who was used to create a stone. So she's just gone forever now. Which was another thing that made me go, they're going to have to... Of course she can't come back, but they're going to go back in time, everyone, and undo the 5 years. It's fine. They're going to undo the 5 years. They don't undo that 5 years. They bring it back. They snap everyone back. Which this is something I like about the Infinity Stones in the movies more than I like about them in the comics. In the comics, you get all the stones on your hand, you're all powerful. It is over. You can just do whatever you want. Here, you can tell you still have to be able to wield that power.
Mm-hmm.
And Hulk said, listen, I can take the most damage. And Thanos doing this, it almost killed him. If anybody here could possibly survive, it's going to be me. So he's the one who has to take the glove, which I love that they built an Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet, which you know that's going to be a thing that they sell. And I kind of want one. But he uses it to bring everyone back. And
I also kind of like how the Iron Man gauntlet is on the other arm.
I didn't notice that. Man, that's a small detail that I didn't notice. And that is a really good detail. You're right, it is. That is such a good detail in here. But you can tell everyone is back. But then Nebula summons out Thanos, and he blows up the compound, and it looks like they're dying. Like, Rhodey's suit is destroyed, so he's having to crawl out of, like, they're underneath here, like, water is piling up, Hulk is having to hold up the entire compound over them, Rocket is being crushed, he's like, I can't breathe. And then, like, Scott, you see Scott get blown up to his face. You see, like, he's staring out the window, like, look at all the birds. And, like, he's
you
dead.
snap the fingers, like, oh, the birds are back. Not
He's dead.
anymore.
I was like, they're going to undo the 5 years, everyone, which means that now they're just going to start killing off everyone, and then Iron Man is going to look around. I mean, his dad even gives him. His dad tells him, yeah, oftentimes I've chosen my own self-interest over the greater good too many times. Like, that's literally, by not undoing the 5 years, that's what Tony was going to do. So, yeah, all right, it's kind of Tony, but little did I know, that was Tony going like, yeah, you and me both, Dad. We're you and me both. It was like a bonding moment for them. It wasn't meant to be like Tony learning like, oh, shoot, man, is that what I'm doing now? It was like, yeah, me too, Dad. But I was like, no, Thanos is going to go around killing all the Avengers, and he's going to be about to, like, get his hands on this. And then Tony's going to have to use, like, the time stone to go back 5 years and undo all this stuff. Yeah, okay, so I can see what's going here. No, they all managed to survive the blast. And there's just so many, it's just a great sequence of them having to escape the compound, like Hulk having to hold up that thing, which is a great reference to all the Secret War comic.
Like, I really appreciate that they did not use the gauntlet at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was so easy to just, like, put on the gauntlet and just, like, bring the compound
Just
like
use
back
it, yeah.
together.
Use
and
it to fight him off.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, no, that would be the bad thing to do.
Yeah.
And we want to do the right thing.
Until it gets to that point where there's no other option in it.
Yes.
But again, it's like, yeah, man, the heroes are going to try and not use the big evil weapon as much as they can until it gets to the last moment of this because, yeah, man, unlike them, it's like, yes, I'm just going to instantly use this to kill half the people in the world. Aren't I a good guy, everyone? No, the heroes are like, this is something that we use for emergencies only. So yeah, there's a great chase sequence in there with Clint of him having to escape all those little savage monsters in there, which, man, I heard someone jokingly refer to them as Venoms. They really look like Venom. There was a moment in here in which Spider-Man kicks one, and all of a sudden this big black creature, I see like white lines over it I've never noticed before. Like, that's totally Venom. That's as close as we're going to get to the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Spider-Man fighting Venom. That was, man, I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, the chase scene of Clint having to escape, Hulk having to, like, get them out of there, Ant-Man to the rescue down there, so freaking good. But then you got Iron Man, Cap, and Thor, the three big main Avengers, all going in there for a one-on-one fight with him. And again, Thor brought Mjolnir back from the past. I was like, that's kind of weird that, like, you have Stormbreaker now. Like, you don't really need Mjolnir anymore. They needed it to give us the thing that many of us have been waiting for. I remember, like, at the party scene when he got the thing to nudge a little bit, I was like, okay, but he's got to lift that for real at one point, and then it's destroyed in Ragnarok. And I went, I guess we're never going to get that, and that would have been a really cool thing to do. Time travel, baby. Time travel fixes all your problems. He goes, like, they're in the battle, and Thor, like, throws the hammer, it misses Thanos, and then, bam, Cap catches that thing. Which, that was like right after Thanos was using Stormbreaker. I was like, yeah, because anybody can use Stormbreaker, but not everyone can use Mjolnir. I know what's going to happen. He's going to try and pick up Mjolnir, and it's going to be like, what's happening here? And it will be like the moment of like, Thor's going to make some kind of a speech about only the worthy can lift it, and it was like, maybe like Thanos being like, having like some kind of a moment of, what do you mean only the worthy? I'm the most worthy of them all. But no, they didn't do it. They just threw the hammer to Cap, and Cap picks that thing up, and it's just Cap going mano a mano with Thanos. So good. And then the shield starts breaking apart. Which, you want to talk about something that is just a symbol of, like, the end of this franchise. Cap's shield being ripped apart is a great symbol of that. But then you've got, like, all the Avengers start lining up there. But Thanos then comes in, which, this is another thing. I want to talk about plot holes in here. She summoned in Thanos' ship. Where the hell did his entire armada come from?
Like, maybe they were just, like, in the ship?
No, we see additional ships popping up in there. You see the giant, like, space worm things.
I guess so, but I thought that, like, they were on board and then they just, like, opened up pods and
I don't think the ship was that big, because you also saw, like, other ships in there. But, yeah, I did kind of have, like, a little bit of problems, like, where the fuck did all this stuff come from? So I did, but I was like, all right, you know what, not important. Nebula could still, no, wait, the time thing is gone. Which, yeah, when they said we have to use the time thing to go back now, and he says the time thing is destroyed, I was like, Time Stone's still there. Time Stone. We can undo the 5 years, everyone. We can undo those 5 years. No, they ain't gonna do that. Oh man. So there's so much here that I want to talk about right now. So you've got the heroes there, but they're looking at, and it just has that perfect like feeling of hopelessness. It has that perfect feeling of
like there's just that one scene of Captain America standing on like one side, and then the entire like Thanos' armada on the other side of the screen. It's just like, oh crap, how's he gonna get out of this one?
I thought that this was like the dark, like, you're not gonna make us suffer defeat again, are you? Like, it's weird that in Infinity War, I kept thinking, no, they can still beat him, and so it's all good. And this one, there's literally a moment which I thought, we're going to lose. We lost this thing. There's nothing that can be done. Like, yeah, they're going to have the heroes win, but Cap's about to be eaten. Peach is sad about that moment. But Cap's about to be swallowed up by this big wave of monsters. There's nothing that can be done about this. And then you get that crap. And we were in the Alamo, and the Alamo, you know, the waiters have to run around. There's a kitchen back there. I thought one of the waiters forgot to, like, turn off their walkie-talkies or something. I was like, for real, man? But then it comes back on, crap. I was like, it's Falcon. Yes. And you guys, you know me. I am the biggest Falcon defender on the internet right now. I love Falcon, both in the comics and in the movies. And then he comes in and goes, Cap, on your left. And at that moment, I wanted to walk out of the theater, walk out of the Alamo where they force you to be quiet, and go to like a regular ass theater where people will get up and cheer and applaud. And I want to see everyone's reaction to that moment. I want to see everyone's reaction to hearing on your left. Because even in the Alamo where they will kick you out for making noise, we heard a couple of people go, ah! My dog just jumped up on my leg when I made that sound. She's very concerned. So then the portal opens up. And not just one portal, but then you see portal. Just opening up one after another, and everyone is there. Like when Valkyrie came out, I was like, thank God, because I was afraid that they put Valkyrie on the posters. Mm-hmm. I was like, please tell me you didn't just have her appear to be in a fishing jacket, and that was like, please don't tell me you put her in here because after the success of Ragnarok, you went, oh shoot, we already filmed this movie, everyone. But Tessa Thompson's way more popular than we thought she was going to be. So we'll have her come in for a scene. No. She comes flying in there. You've got all these other characters popping up there. You got Wong walking out there, but Wong walks out with like all the sorcerers from across the entire planet. And then you've got, God, how many other people popped up in there? I can't even remember all the different people that popped up at the end of this thing. You've got all the sorcerers. You've got, I think, like, some of, like, the Nova... No, Nova Force is gone. They're dead.
Like the Wakanda Warriors?
Wakanda, yeah, that's it. Like, all the different fighters from Wakanda, they popped up in there. The first people to pop up, it was Black Panther and Okoye and Shuri. And man, I can make out Shuri's outline with the gauntlets. Like, those gauntlets are good. Those are good designs. I can make them out from her outline. And yet the audience started like, ah, like you heard like one person like, I want to scream, but they'll kick me out if I do. They come out, and then like all the Wakanda warriors come. Like, all right, so we're gonna get Black Panther back in here. That's cool. Black Panther joined the battle again, everyone. Black Panther confirmed for Smash Bros. But then no, just more portals. And that's when you see all the other portals hopping open. And you see everyone appear, including Pepper Potts in the rescue armor. And it looks better than the rescue armor in the comics. Like, they made it purple instead of red and silver, which I like because, yeah, Tony's suit is red and silver sometimes. Sometimes it's red and silver, sometimes it's red and gold. That's not identifying enough. Purple and gold, bam, done. That looks good. And also, Gwyneth, I have had a problem. Listen, I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's not like I don't have problems with it. And for a long time, they had a problem with how they treated their female characters.
Yeah.
All the female characters in there were just there to be like, save me, superhero man. That was all they were there. And Pepper Potts was the worst about that. And it was Gwyneth Paltrow, who at the time, like, she hasn't been in a lot of stuff since, but at the time, she was an A-class actress. And it really feels upsetting to me that it's like, man, you took like a big-name actress just so she could go, save me, Tony. Oh, Tony, don't you think that you're being, like, too rude? Oh, Tony. Yeah, I always have a problem with that. She pops up in the freaking rescue armor, is like, about freaking time. Yes, Peach. Yes, Peach. I'm
She gets
clapping.
very excited when you clap.
I am going to be doing that a lot now. But everyone is there, and from there, it is just moment after moment of everything you could possibly want to
so
see.
Squirmy. Let me put you
You could possibly want to see with these characters doing. And I had, okay, as I said in our review, I cried 4 times in the last half hour of this movie. Cry number 1, when everyone was there. When they just went Smash Bros. Ultimate with this thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Feige. You might remember me from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, we've been playing Smash Bros. In the office and we decided, screw it, why not? Everyone is here. Snake popped up at one point in here, everyone. He's from Metal Gear. You don't even know what that means, but he's here for some reason. The only people who weren't here are the Netflix characters and the people from the ABC shows, which the Netflix characters, there's a contractual obligation that keeps them from doing that. But the ABC characters, I feel like they could do that, but then you would have to come in and explain to people who haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. why Agent Coulson is still alive. Mm-hmm. But you pull in like Daisy, you could pull in Quake from there, you could pull in Ghost Rider from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, you could pull people in from that. And I kind of wish that they had done that, and I kind of wish that Marvel just forked up the money to break the contract to get the Netflix characters in there. But then Doctor Strange goes up to Wong, and he goes, is this everyone? And Wong goes, what, you want more people? And you can tell that was the studio turning around and looking at the audience to everybody who's like, but what about the Marvel Netflix shows? Like, motherfucker, do you see everyone who's up here?
It was like,
how are you still asking for more?
It's like that Smash meme. It's like, don't ever ask for anything ever again.
Yes. Okay, we got everyone, but where's the Waluigi of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Where's Iron Fist, our Waluigi here? Are you fucking, what? You fucking serious with this shit right now? Fine. Bye. Yeah, that was literally them stopping to turn to the people. It was like, but Daredevil, shut the fuck up. Like, that was them going, do you know how much we worked our ass off to make this scene happen right now? Yeah, man, it would have been great if we got the Netflix characters in there. But what we got was still a 10 out of goddamn 10. It was amazing. And again, it's just shot after shot after shot. Everything you could possibly want to see this happening. And it turns into a big-ass football game at the end of this.
Pretty much, yeah.
Of, like, just Clint running with the ball, and then Black Panther passes it to me, bam, passes it to him. Black Panther starts getting, like, beat down by one of the big monsters. I love that they brought the Black Order back so that you could have the heroes fight their asses all over again. You have the Black Order going in there, and then Spidey swings in, he passes off to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's swinging around, he goes into auto-kill mode so that he's just fighting off all the monsters on their own. And then, like, he swings up and hops on you have a goddamn movie where Spider-Man, holding the Infinity Gauntlet, hopped on to Valkyrie's Pegasus.
Yes.
And they're now soaring through the battle. I love that this movie came out on the same day that season 2 of She-Ra did, because it means that there's if you're a fan of Pegasuses and ladies with swords riding on them, this is your weekend, everybody.
Yay.
Yeah. That's literally like, I described 2 of your top 5 things. And there's a talking animal in here, so this movie has 3 of your top 5 things. So they are riding around on that, and again, this is what makes the Marvel films so good when they do their team-ups. It's not that, it's the characters I know. It's the characters you know. They, in these scenes, are still acting like the characters you know and love. Mm-hmm. And I love that Spider-Man, when he gets put on a Pegasus, He just goes, "Oh, hi, I'm Peter Parker. I don't think we had a chance to meet." And Tessa Thompson, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep calling her Tessa Thompson even though she's Valkyrie, because Tessa Thompson is a dynamic personality in the current modern day of pop culture. She doesn't have time for that shit. She just charges right back into battle. It's an amazing goddamn sequence. But even as that's happening, you have all these different heroes fighting there. You've got Iron Man fighting back to freaking back with Pepper Potts, and like War Machine's suit is destroyed. What's War Machine going to do? Oh yeah, they're at Avengers compound. There's probably a big ass Hulkbuster style Iron Patriot suit sitting around. Mm-hmm. He pops back up in like this perfect blend between Iron Patriot and War Machine.
Yeah.
It looks like a combination of the two of them, but even bigger. I was like, done, cool. I'm all up for that. I love this. It's a redesign for the War Machine suit that we got in the last like half hour of this movie. We're never going to see it again. Goddamn, you saved something that good for now. So many good things in here. But yeah, you've got like Pepper Potts, who for the longest time has been staying on the sideline needing to be rescued over and over and over again by Tony, fighting back to goddamn back with Tony, and she's kicking ass. I hope she pops up in more shit. Because like her suit looks amazing in this. Her suit takes like all the crazy shit that his suit could do in the last one, and it's pulling out like even more stops. Like it's going full on. It's so amazing to me that the Russo brothers, like, they did Winter Soldier, which is a spy film. And it was a great spy film. And then you did Civil War, which has a lot of people just sitting around having quiet conversations about, like, this big political issue that is facing them. They're actually having a discussion about that. So it's this really deep film. But when you watch stuff like this, and you watch the fight scene in Civil War, and you watch the fight scene in this, it's clear these guys have watched a lot of anime. And they're taking that and going, oh no, yeah, we saved that stuff for now. And we're going to go ape with this. We're going to go nuts with this. There are a few things that, like, again, they couldn't just go on forever.
Yeah.
I would like to see, like, what was left on the cutting room floor of this. I would like to see, like, we were also going to have, like, this happen in this, like, there's got to be, like, a scene where, like, Falcon swings in and picks up Bucky, and now these two guys have been arguing nonstop. Like, he's flying Bucky around as Bucky, like, takes people out in the air. Like, something like that. Like, I feel like there's got to be, like, moments like that. But, again, it's like, what am I going to do? Complain? Like, it's like with the Netflix characters not being there. Am I honestly going to complain that I didn't get a scene of, like, this happening in there? Like, a lot of people wanted the scene that was in the original Infinity Gauntlet comic of Captain America going up to the fully powered Thanos, making a speech about, like, yes, but I might just be one person, but I'll never stand down. As long as one person doesn't stand down to you, then you still have one.
They kind of did that in that shot.
Yes. They didn't say it with words. They said it with a shot.
Yes, so and that's what movies are supposed to do.
Yeah. So they did it incredibly well. But, yeah, it's... God, I know I'm all over the place. But this ending is so flippin' good. This ending is so many things you want to see happen.
Yeah, and then Captain Marvel comes along and just like...
God damn, I love that.
Just like, Thanos like, oh crap, time to fire the missiles. Oh, wait.
No, they decide to just start blasting everyone on the ground, and then the wizards put their hands up and create shields with all that shit, which was just like an entire army of wizards just putting their hands up to save everyone. But even before that, like, man, I'm a big Scarlet Witch fan. We talked so long about this. The memory card on this. I cleared up a full memory card before we did the review in the spoiler talk. We talked for so long about this that we filled up the memory card.
There's just so much to talk about.
So much, and I want to talk about everything in here. But yeah, so Captain Marvel comes in. But before that, I'm a big Scarlet Witch fan. And Scarlet Witch in Age of Ultron was like, she's powerful, but she's... Man, it's so weird that Joss Whedon is considered like this big feminist, but you look at his films... And a lot of times, he makes every female character like, I'm the girl, everyone, even if they're the protagonist.
Yeah, he's considered a quote-unquote feminist because he just has a girl
He has a lot of female characters in his film.
Hey, here's a girl. Okay, I'm done. I filled up my quota. Like,
yeah.
No.
But then because I hated how he had Black Widow in, again, I love the Avengers. I love the first Avengers film. It's probably my personal favorite until now of these films. But I still look at it, and one of the big problems I have with that film is that, man, you got Black Widow, this super spy with a dark past, and she's still just kind of, like, quirky in that Joss Whedon way. I was like, that doesn't match her at all. And then in Age of Ultron, she was so much even worse about that. She was so much worse about that in Age of Ultron. But same thing goes with Scarlet Witch. In that film, she was kind of just another, like, I'm the girl, everyone. But then in Civil War, she got so much depth and she became her own character. In Infinity War, they got rid of the accent, so that was like the one big problem with that character. And they also like showed off like she can be all powerful, but also like she's got so much emotional depth to her. And then in here, she pops up and says, "You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are," which is when they play into the time travel language. Part of me wants to kind of be upset about this because, yes, we got the big showdown with Thanos, but it's a Thanos who does not have any connection to these characters. So there isn't quite the emotional weight there. But as I said in the beginning of this, there's kind of like two different portrayals of Thanos. Both of them are villains, but it's the villain who thinks he's a hero and the flat-out villain. So I kind of do appreciate that they actually killed both of them in here. But so she pops in and just has that great line of, "I don't even know who you are. Don't worry, you will." And yeah, Thanos, who just took on Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America all by himself, starts getting his ass kicked by Scarlet Witch, and I'm just sitting there like, that's how it should be. Yes, I was so happy to see that. And then he just starts raining the blast on them, and you've got all the wizards protecting them all. But then the shots just start firing upwards, and he goes, "Why did they suddenly just start firing upwards?" And I was like, the Nova Force? Like, I didn't know what was coming. Like, I was like, the Nova?
No, it's like, I knew it was going to be Captain Marvel, because, like, when they said, "Is everybody here?" It's like, Captain Marvel's not here. I bet she'll come in later when they need her the most.
She came in. She came in like Goku does. Like, all right, I'm here to go Super Saiyan, motherfuckers. She just popped in. And man, if you need a spaceship destroyed in your movie, Carol Danvers is the person to call. She pops in and blasts that thing down, just rips that thing apart. And then she gets her hands on the gauntlet. And I love this moment so goddamn much because, as I have said, I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I can see the problems that were with it. And for about the first, I would say, the first two phases of it. For the first two phases, it wasn't even until like phase 3 that we started getting like actual really good female characters in here. Mm-hmm. We had decent female characters, and people would kind of call them good because it's like, oh, at least we got something in there. And again, I'm talking as a man. If you want to like contradict me and go, well, this character was really good, and you're ignoring them, or if you don't think that they were good in phase 3, like just let me know.
Oh no, I absolutely agree with you, especially when Black Panther, like you have like.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, like they have corrected so many mistakes. Mm-hmm. In this. Civil War, like you look at Joss Whedon's versions of the Avengers, and then you look at Civil War, which was basically the real Avengers 3. And it's like, holy crap, the female characters are written so much better in here. They're so much better in this. But yeah, the Marvel Cinematic Universe for like 2 phases, like 6 years, had like, oh, and Wasp also was now actually in Ant-Man, which the first Ant-Man ends with her going, "It's about time." I feel like that was them turning to like the audience going like, yeah, isn't it? Isn't it about time we saw this stuff happening? So at the end of this, I feel like this scene was them basically kind of like apologizing to the audience, going, "We know, and we've been working our ass off to try and correct it." But this movie basically, like, after she gets her hands on the gauntlet, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, "How are you going to get through all this?"
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker just said, which that was such a good line read from her. It's like, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker." "Hi, Peter Parker. Got something for me?" Like, as I said, Brie Larson, when she has to just deliver a normal line, like just normal conversation, she does kind of come off a little flat.
A little flat, and that's kind of like my fault with her, but like, and in like this and both Captain Marvel.
And that was something that I had a problem with her in Captain Marvel with.
I was like, when she actually like emotes.
When she has to be charismatic about something, goddamn, she's charismatic. Mm-hmm. She's very good about that. And yeah, that line was a perfect delivery on that. But then every single female superhero that they have pops up and goes, "Don't worry, she has help." And you see like Nebula coming, you see Gamora coming, you see Shuri in there, Okoye, you see
Mantis coming.
Mantis.
I thought that was so cute. She's like, "We're fighting, okay." Like she was.
Mantis is Mantis. This movie, Infinity War, have made me just go, you know what? I'm sorry, Rocket. Mantis is my favorite Guardian. Mantis is so perfect. But she, Mantis is there. Pepper pops in and does the superhero landing of Iron Man. And she just goes, "Don't worry, she has help." And like, they kept adding so many characters in there that I was like, I forgot how many good female characters that they had in the I forgot how many like female characters they have in here.
It makes me want to have like an all-women Avengers spin-off.
In the comics, they did that.
They do, but like I mean for the movies.
Movies. I want to see that. I want to see A-Force. I want to see that in here. Yeah. You look at all those characters and it's like, holy crap, Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel and Okoye and Shuri and Mantis and Nebula, and you just look at all these characters and it's like, can you imagine all of them just hanging out together? Like, just the dialogue alone of these unique, diverse personalities of characters all interacting on the same team would be excellent. I would love to see that. But yeah, to me, it felt like Marvel coming in here and going, we know we fucked up for like 6-7 years on this, and we're sorry, but this is us trying to say, we're correcting that mistake. And I also felt like it was them turning to all the whiny piss babies on the internet who were just so like, oh, can you believe that Captain Marvel is a feminist movie? Oh my God. Sam Jackson was washing dishes in that movie? That's an actual thing people are mad about. That's an actual thing that people have made videos on and tricked you motherfuckers into giving them money for about. Yeah, can you, like, I feel like that was them turning to them and going, oh yeah, oh, I'm sorry, you boycotted Captain Marvel? Oh, gasp, my stars and garters, everyone. Oh, clutch my pearls, everybody. Oh, you boycotted that shit. Oh, I don't give a fuck. Look at all this shit. Like, I felt like it was specifically them going, just to everybody. So yeah, I was...
Just all the women just...
Can you believe that Captain Marvel defeated Thanos by kicking him in the nuts so hard that he lost his Oh my goodness. I can't believe that Captain Marvel came in there and talked about how important women's rights were and it caused Thanos' testicles to fall off. I can't believe that's how they made this movie in there. I felt like that was them turning to the audience out there that's been saying stupid shit like that and just being like, go fuck yourselves. Oh, boycott our movies all you want. We don't need you. We're
getting plenty of money. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I can't hear you. We were busy having a money fight over here, everyone. Yeah. Wow. I've tried not to talk about that stuff because I don't like giving jackasses on the internet any attention. I feel like that's the best way to find them. But, hey, man, that scene really, like, God, all those guys can just go fuck themselves. Like, this is so good right here. I love this. I love this so much. So yeah, and then they go in there, and I'm about to pull a 180 though, because at the end, like, they have Captain Marvel going up, and it's like everybody is teaming up on Thanos as he's trying to get the gauntlet, and gets the gauntlet on, and they're now just fighting to keep him from snapping his fingers. Mm-hmm. And you see Captain Marvel is actually like holding him off with the Infinity thing. I was like, she is the most powerful of them all. That makes sense. But then he like headbutts her, and she just looks up at him and smiles, which was a great thing. But then like, okay, I think you guys made her too powerful. When she is able to not even flinch from like a fully Infinity Gauntlet powered Thanos. But then he reaches over, pulls off the power gem, and punches her with that. And I was like, oh, because he has to, okay. The gems weren't really activated on him yet. They were still being activated, so he had to rip one off to make it like, to get that one specifically to work. Okay, so, yeah. They're just saying she's more powerful than Thanos. I'm cool with that. I'm 100% cool with that.
But she's not more powerful than the Infinity Stones.
Than the entire Infinity Gauntlet, yeah. Because it is one of those things where it's like, if she can literally beat a all fully Infinity Gauntlet powered Thanos, then what's the point of all of you other guys? And they came in here and like with him ripping the power gem off to punch her with it, it was them saying, it's still being activated. It takes there's a warm-up period. You know how after he always puts the glove on, whenever he puts a gem in, he has that moment where he's like, oh, it takes a second. Like, we even saw that in Infinity War when Thor is able to cut him in the chest with his hammer right after he gets it on. It's like, it takes a second for it to warm up everyone. So
yeah,
like,
I mean, you saw it with Hulk when he put it on too. So.
Yeah, it took a long ass time for that thing to activate, so he had to like just activate one instead of all of them. So I was like, okay, there's like, that was like the one moment where I had that second, I was like, okay, now you might be making her too strong here. But it's like, they said, no, that's not what we did. That's not what we did. So I was like, I'm totally fine. And I love that Tony has that moment where he looks over at Doctor Strange. And Doctor
Strange is like...
He tells Tony that, I can't tell you what happens, because if I tell you what happens, then it won't happen. And that was basically going, yes, this is the 1 out of 14 million chance. But we can still lose, motherfucker. And he gives him that like, yes, this is it. which is what Iron Man needed to go in there and grab the gems off. And I love, like, I did have that moment where, like, Thanos snapped his fingers and nothing happened. I was like, what? What? How did this... What happened here?
What did he do?
And then you see that the gems aren't there, and that Iron Man now has them, and they're fusing into his suit. And I did have that brief moment where I was like, well, why, when they were trying to pull the gauntlet off him in Infinity War, they didn't just take the gems off? And then you remember, this isn't the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet, it's designed, when it gets in there, it is in there. It's not coming off. This is an Iron Man gauntlet that more than likely is compatible with other Iron Man technology. He didn't need to pull the gems off like one by one. He needed to get his hands on his own gauntlet so that he could then basically hijack his own technology with his technology to basically go, yeah, send that shit along my way. And we saw when Hulk put the gauntlet on, it changes for the size of whoever's on it. So we know that this thing can morph and shift around. So it would explain why, if he just got his hand on there, he could cause it to morph and shift the gems onto his thing. And Thanos' line, I am inevitable, calling back to that, which, by the way, I haven't even mentioned this. It is such a good villain thing that when Thanos arrives, he sends Nebula out, he sends his monsters out, and he goes, and I will wait for you to bring it to me. That's how badass Thanos is. He's just like, I'm not even going to dirty my hands with getting the Infinity Gauntlet, because I know I've won. Like, he just has that confidence. He says, I am inevitable, and Iron Man goes, I am Iron Man.
And it all loops back around to the very first.
Loops back around. God damn, that's good. But we have seen when Thanos uses the gauntlet, it hurts him. And that's one of the things, I don't even remember if I fully mentioned this. Yeah, I started saying it, but then I trailed off. In the comics, you get the Infinity Gauntlet. It doesn't matter who's holding it. You have unlimited powers. I like that in this one, it still takes a toll. Like, you still have to be able to contain all that power. And yeah, Hulk almost died from that. Thanos almost died from that. Iron Man died from that. And goddamn, it's a really touching end. And I knew he was going out. Like, you can't have the guy who started all this.
Yeah, he really was the one. Like, Iron Man 2 was basically like Avengers the prequel.
Avengers the prequel. And, I mean, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe literally began with Iron Man 1.
Yeah, and I felt like it was appropriate, too, because, like, yeah, in like, Avengers, he was the one who sacrificed himself by going into the portal.
And also, ever since that first Avengers, he's been messed up. He's been messed up because he's like, Thanos has been inside my head for 6 years. I have not been able to stop thinking about Thanos for 6 years because I have just constantly been thinking about all the horrifying shit that he did to me. Like, this has been something that's been weighing on him. This was him ending it. He had to be the one that ended Thanos. So it made absolute sense to me. Yeah, and it is a very touching moment. And I love that the roles are reversed. I love that in the first one, Peter was going up to him and was like, no, Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. And now he's like, tell Mr. Stark, you can't go. But I was like, don't just have it just be Peter in there.
No, and then
I love that Pepper came in. It's like, Pepper needs to be the one that sends him off. Yeah.
It's like, you can rest now. It's like, like, it's sad that he had to go, but like, the fact that he was able to do what he had to be done is he can rest in peace.
It was an amazing send-off.
Yes.
Now we go into cry moment number 2. Now we have his funeral, and I love that. It's the slow-ass camera turn. And the thing that they send off into the lake is his original art reactor that Pepper made him, that Pepper, like, got encased for him that said, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. Oh, that started to get me. But what really got me, it was such a weird thing to finally be the thing that got me. And it's starting to get me again right now. But it started drifting away there, and it zooms around to everybody there. And it goes up to one particular kid. Did you know who that kid was? It was one of the last people that the camera went over to. Did you, like...
Is it the kid from Iron Man 3?
It was.
Oh, yeah.
They brought the kid from Iron Man 3 back for this. And I was like, it's kind of weird that they would just bring him back, but nobody else from Tony's life. And then I stopped and thought about it. Pepper, Rhodey, the Avengers. He literally has chased away everyone else in his life where they've turned out to be a villain. Like, what? I want, like... Justin Hammer to pop up in there? No. What, I want Trevor Slattery to pop up in there? No. He's literally the only other person in 3 goddamn films that he established a connection with. They brought him back, and it was great that he was there. And I honestly think that most audience members are going to be like, who the fuck is that? I know who that was, and it was awesome. I love it the way that Nick Fury is revealed. Yeah. Is that Nick Fury isn't staying there. Nick Fury walks out onto the stage from the shadows like how he did in his very first appearance at the tail end of Iron Man 1. That was a great way to bring him out. But what got me is that you now have, and I'm literally about to cry again. I'm literally about to cry again. You've got Happy. You've got Jon Favreau, Happy Hogan there. I'm doing it. I'm crying. You've got Happy Hogan there, and he's with his daughter, and he says, "You doing okay?" "Yeah, kind of hungry." "What'd you want?" "Cheeseburgers." I'm doing it. I'm fucking crying.
She said cheeseburgers, though, and then he corrected her, and I thought that was adorable.
I'm literally crying. I literally had to take a break. Like, that was not... You guys know me. I'm a shitty actor. Those were real tears. But he goes, "Cheeseburgers?" He goes, "Yeah. I'm going to get you all the cheeseburgers that you want. Your dad liked cheeseburgers, too. I'm going to get you all the cheeseburgers you want." It made me think back to Iron Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he got picked up in the car,
Yep.
said, "I want an American cheeseburger. I want an American..." And Jon Favreau, drove out there. And one of my biggest problems with Iron Man 1 is that it has a really gross product placement scene where he, hands him, puts perfectly in the middle of the frame the Burger King bag.
Yeah, I remember.
I always hated that, just how gratuitous that is. And they took that stupid product placement scene and made me literally cry over it. Because it's Jon Favreau there, just "Yeah, I was your dad's friend, and I'm going to be there to help make sure that you're okay, kid." It's
And I love how Morgan takes after her dad so much, which is funny because when Tony went back in time to talk to his dad, he's like, "Oh, if I get a girl, she'll be less likely to turn out like me." It's like, no, gender has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that Stark DNA is too strong. But yeah, yeah. Oh man. Okay. Whew. Okay. All right.
You need peace to lick your tears.
No. So then Cap has to go back in time and return the stones. They said, "How long will it take for him?" Is like, "For him, as long as he needs. For us, 5 seconds." I went, "It ain't gonna take 5 seconds." I know. We also know this is Chris Evans' final movie. We know he ain't coming. We know he's not going to come back, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. And he goes and he doesn't return, and then they turn around, and they look, and they see sitting there on a bench overlooking the lake is an old man, and everybody realizes what happened. And Bucky tells Sam, "You should go up there." And okay, tears coming on again.
No.
Okay. Sam goes up there, and yeah, it's old Chris Evans, and he goes, "Well, after I returned the last stone, I thought maybe I should give that get in a life thing that Tony was always talking about a try." I knew exactly he didn't have to say anything. I knew exactly what happened. He went back and stayed with Carter. Yes, Peggy Carter. I almost said Patsy Walker. I was like, that's all I know. Stayed with Peggy Carter. And then Sam goes, "It's gonna be weird living in a world without Captain America." And I went, "No! Oh my God, do it! Oh, are you gonna do it?" And he goes, "Funny you should mention that." And then he brings out the shield, because remember, time's been split now. He has a different Iron Man. He has a different Captain America shield now. So even if the Captain America shield that he fought with was destroyed, he's got one they brought from the past now. He's like, "Funny you should mention that," because he's already screwed everything up. It doesn't matter if they return stuff of the past now. They've already created the What If show that's popping up on Disney Plus. It's already happened. "Here, try it on." And I went, "No way." Because if you guys never watch our comic book show, I have mentioned several times, in the comics, both Bucky and Sam have been Captain America before. I like Sam Wilson as Captain America way more than Bucky. I like Sam Wilson as Captain America a little bit more than Steve Rogers as Captain America. I freaking love Sam Wilson. I love the Falcon. I love Captain Falcon. I love him as Captain America. I love that so much. And I knew that Bucky was the popular choice. I knew everyone liked Bucky as Cap more. I knew that I was practically alone on liking Sam Wilson more than Bucky as Captain America. I knew that not everyone out there shared my enthusiasm about that. So I was like, yeah, Bucky's the popular choice. Sebastian Stan is bigger in the plot of these movies than Anthony Mackie is. I get that he's a bigger part of all these films than Sam Wilson was. So it's going to go to Bucky. But Sam's the one who went up there. And he says, "Try it on." And I went, "Oh my, no. No. And then he pops it on and he says, "How does it feel?" And he says, "Like it belongs to someone else." And I was like, he's going to turn around and hand it off to Bucky. He's going to turn around and hand it off to Bucky. I know that's what's going to happen. And Cap goes, it always did. And that's why you'll make me proud with it. And then he goes, thanks, Cap. My fist literally went up.
I saw that fist.
I had a bigger smile on my face then than when all the heroes popped up. I was losing my mind by that, and I've had multiple people contact me on Twitter and go, I'm not going to say what it is, but there's something that happens at the end of this that I know you in particular are going to love. That was it, and yes, I did, and I literally started crying tears of joy. I'm not even kidding. I literally started crying tears of joy at that moment. I was so excited about that, and I know that there's not going to be more Captain America movies. I know they're not going to make a Captain America movie starring that version of Captain America, but we are now in a shared universe where these characters can pop up in other things. I know he's going to pop up in another film as Captain America, and I'm totally fine with that. He might just be in a news story somewhere. I am totally happy knowing that in the future of this Marvel Cinematic Universe, Sam Wilson is out there as Captain America. I don't need a movie of him as Captain America. I would like it, but I don't need it. I just know that he's out there as Captain America, and I'm 100% okay with that.
Yeah, plus Bucky has been through so much shit. I don't think he needs to be Captain America. I
made a video 3 weeks ago on this channel in which I said, who would my dream Avengers be if they made another Avengers movie? If after Phase 4, if after this, and we said, we don't know who is returning back from this, so I'm going to just assume that most of the people who are on the Avengers will not be returning after this. Who are the people I would want on the team? I said, get Sam Wilson in there as the new Captain America. And one of the arguments I made is that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, first off, I like Sam Wilson in the comics more than Bucky as Captain America for numerous reasons I won't go into. But in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even if you are a big Bucky fan, even if you're a big nope, it's Bucky Cap or nothing, you have to admit, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Sam Wilson went to war, was part of a secret government project in order to create a super soldier. He then spent years after returning home from war working in the VA, helping other soldiers deal with the stuff that they experienced during war. That's one of the most Captain America things that I can imagine. You even see Captain America doing that with other Thanos survivors in here. Mm-hmm. You see that's how he's been spending his entire time. He spent the last 2 years on the run with Captain America, shoulder and shoulder with Captain America as his number one partner for the past 2 years. Bucky worked with him in World War II. After that, he was a trained, brainwashed assassin up until a week before he was snapped out of existence by Thanos. He's not in the right place to be Captain America now. Sam Wilson in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's literally A, B, C, D, E, everything is lined up for, no, he's Captain America. He's the guy. So yeah, that was cry number 3, just tears of joy. And yeah.
Cry number 4?
Cry number 4, movie ends, they start rolling the credits. They show everybody who's in the film. Which Natalie Portman got big starring thing in there. And I was like, she was here for 5 seconds. I mean, kudos for her for showing up, but really, she should be one of the end featuring big list of people at the end. But then the 6 main Avengers, they don't get the regular title cards. They get the slow zoom out on the character with flashes of all the stuff they've done in the past,
and you see their
signature in the middle. That was cry number 4 because that was the moment that made me go, that wasn't a cry for this movie, that was a cry for the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe in this one. You freaking did it! You did something that we have never seen from a movie before. You did something that we have never seen from the entire history of cinema. And dude, we review movies for a living. I see pretty much everything you can do with a movie. This was an amazing experiment unlike anything we have ever seen. And god damn, they did it. And I am so impressed by it. So yeah, that wasn't a sad cry. That wasn't oh, they're all gone and we'll never see them again. That was you freaking, you earned this. You earned this, everybody. Way to go. Yeah, that was cry number 4. But then at the very end of this, we waited around to see if there was a post-credits thing. No, they're done.
No. Yep.
We don't need to link to future shit. It's done, everybody.
Yes.
You can go home now.
Yes.
You can enjoy shit. I don't want there to stop being Marvel films, but I do want them to take a break from, okay, this one leads into this, and they go, give me a second to breathe now, and just go,
It's let us be able to enjoy these movies separately and not have to worry about
how it all links in.
Yeah. Yes.
But there is one thing that is kind of nice at the end, which is that at the end, when the Marvel logo comes up, you hear tink, tink, tink. And I was like, it's Tony in the cave making the first Iron Man suit. It's Tony over the smelter just tink, tink. It's like from tiny ass beginnings all the way up to that. That was the perfect sound effect to put in there to go, remember how we began? We began as Tony Stark in a cave with a box of scraps. That is what we started with, and we got to here. Man. Oh, man. Now I know what you Game of Thrones fans feel like, because I just watched a Stark die. Holy cow. Yeah, I love this. I do have a problem, I can't not ignore, the 5-year thing. It's weird thinking about the future films, but this film was like saying, stop fucking thinking about the future films. But then also thinking about, the big freaking, plot holes that I create. Oh, God, we didn't even talk about what the final shot is. The final shot of the movie is that Steve got his dance with Peggy.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That made me so happy.
Yes.
Finally.
That would have been cry number 3 for me if I wasn't busy still from previous cry number 3 with Falcon.
This cry number 3.5 or something like that.
This was the continuation of cry number 3.
Yes.
God damn. But yeah, looking at while he remained in the past, it does make me go, well, now there's a lot of plot holes in here, but this movie, and I can't not look at plot holes and such. And also, what the hell happened with Loki? How did you catch him again after he gets hit with the Tesseract for a second? What happened with that thing? How do you catch up to him with that? I don't understand how. Yeah, there are things that I cannot, despite how much I want to, not ignore. How much I want to ignore those plot holes. There are things that make me go, God damn, I gotta question this. I'm just that asshole. I'm that guy. I'm gonna be that guy right now, even though I shouldn't be. But God damn, it's so good. Yeah. So yeah, I'm freaking. It's so yeah. I got nothing left to say. I love this, and it's over with now. They got to the end and went out amazingly, and from here on out, Spider-Man: Far From Home could be absolute garbage. It could be worse than Hellboy was. I don't care. Spider-Man's one of my favorite heroes out there. I don't care if they fuck up his next Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Because we got here. We did it. Here's the thing. We finished the marathon. And we came in first. If you get home and all of a sudden, the power goes out, who cares? You still got that medal from winning the marathon, man. It's done. You got this, man. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're good now.
We went scene by goddamn scene on this movie because you have to. You have to. So thank you. I might go back and edit some stuff out of this. There might be a few weird cuts because this was over an hour. We talked about Infinity War for half as long as Infinity War went on. So this... I apologize for everybody out there who tuned out a long time ago, but I can't not contain my excitement. I mean, you recently saw someone on Twitter talking about someone doing a Star Wars reaction video where he got emotional and started crying about this is so great. And she's like, oh God, Star Wars and superhero movies have created an entire generation of undateable men. I cried 4 times in this goddamn movie. I spent an hour and a half right now flipping out and losing my mind over this movie. This is my wife, everyone, who dated me for several goddamn years. Don't let anybody ever tell you can't be excited about something. Don't let anybody tell you can't enjoy the stuff that you love. Don't let anybody out there tell you that you can't enjoy pop culture and superheroes and fucking Star Wars and all that other shit and actually get emotionally invested in these characters and be a loser. Don't let anybody tell you that shit. You can absolutely, have passion and joy and positivity for things, and things will actually work out for you sometimes. You don't have to be a cold, cynical jackass who shuts themselves off from the rest of the world.
Because that guarantees you won't be with anybody.
That's what makes you an undateable asshole. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I've gotten some other weird shit in here. Thank you very much. Now that I am finished, I will go ahead and let you guys know. My sleep schedule has been weird the past couple days. I've gotten 5 hours sleep in the last 3 days. And I got back from Infinity War. I was starving. I bought a bagel, ate that bagel, and then got vomit levels of sick off that bagel within half an hour. So I've been like sick the entire time we've been recording this, but not Infinity War, Endgame it filled me with so much adrenaline that as soon as I'm done recording, I'm gonna collapse. But that's how good this movie is. I am like deathly ill right now. And yet you probably couldn't tell that from the levels of excitement that I had from this thing, because it's that good. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Come back next week when we review whatever movie drew the shortest stick in the bunch to have to come up the week after. What's the movie that knew was going to lose a lot of money next week? We'll be reviewing that one. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.